hardly wait to talk to Scott. I'm excited enough that I managed to forget about Johnny Parker for most of the morning. Before arriving at the lunch table, I find a seat next to Scott and away from Danny. I met your sister today, I say. I expect him to be at least a little surprised. So it's an extra bummer when he casually says, she told me. I ran into her before lunch. She's pretty cool. She's cool if she's not your sister. All she does is boss me around. You never told me she played the trumpet in jazz band. Scott just shrugs and stared at his lunch, which looks unappetizing as usual. We're both quiet for a few seconds while I try to think of something else to say. If I don't make Scott talk, he'll spend the entirety of lunch staring into his sandwich, pretending the rest of the world doesn't exist. He's a good friend, but he gets really nervous in crowded places, especially the lunch table. That's probably why I never see him outside of school. Scott looks down the table at Danny, who's totally distracted by whatever cronies he's blabbing to. Don't worry, I say. I'm not going to start anything with him today. It's not you I'm worried about, Scott says. I try to change the subject to something more comfortable. Are you interested in jazz band? Considering your sister's in it and all. He shrugs and says, I heard it's way too hard. Not interested. What about Zeke? Zeke is another drummer in band. He's really friendly, but he does seem to spend more time giggling than actually playing the drums. Out of all the kids in band, he's the most likely to show up to school dressed as a clown. Zeke might join it if it gets him out of math next year. Danny is apparently listening to us because he starts shouting across the table. The sax players in the jazz band suck. The only ones worse are the trumpet players. I clench my fist but keep my mouth shut. He's just trying to get a rise out of us. I won't let him get me into trouble again. Scott, the calm and the quiet one, for once doesn't seem capable of this. The comment about the trumpet players must have set him off because he shouts, Go stick your saxophone in the toilet. It will probably sound better. The table erupts with laughter. Danny scowls and says, Whatever. Have fun talking to your girlfriend. Or is that your pet ape? I grab Scott's hand before he can smash his sandwich inside it. He's not worth it, I say, and hold tight as Scott settles down and resumes eating his lunch. I give Scott a smile and receive a small, embarrassed one in return. That's Scott for you. At times, he doesn't want anyone to know what he's feeling. One second he's complaining about his bossy sister, and the next he's defending her honor at the 6th grade lunch table. At least he's not freaking out about sitting next to me after Danny's comment. Danny wasn't always this way. He was a pretty cool kid in elementary school. He wasn't my best friend or anything, but we played with some of the same kids at recess. We also had a lot of fun whenever we worked as partners in 5th grade science, which we were both equally bad at. 6th grade changed a lot of that, and I'm not sure why. I'm almost finished with my lunch when a very large black suit appears next to our lunch table. Can I talk to you, Samantha? Dr. Pullman says in that awful deep voice. Sam, I say, but I get the worst evil eye imaginable and stand up without another word. I catch Danny giggling as I walk to the end of the lunchroom, right next to the principal. We were supposed to be in lunch detention today, Dr. Pullman says. Was that today? He never told me the specific days. I didn't know that those had already started. They have, he says. Do you understand how serious this is? I nod. Then don't try to skip out tomorrow, or the consequences will be worse. Dr. Pullman folds his arms. I left a voicemail for your parents yesterday. I'm still waiting to hear back from them. I swallow hard. They're pretty busy lately. My dad has a tough new job. He works late most days of the week, even Saturdays now. Did they receive the message? My voice wavers as I say, I'll make sure to ask them. I'd appreciate that. Dr. Pullman unfolds his arms and gives me another stern look. I expect to see you in my office this time tomorrow, the moment the bell rings and not a second later. Dr. Pullman seems to walk away in slow motion. My throat is dry and the hairs on my arms are like quills. What am I going to do about that erased message? So much has happened today that it doesn't really hit me how mean Johnny Parker was after jazz rehearsal until I'm doing my homework that night. I'm sitting at my drum desk going through mixed numbers and ratios when I say out loud, You know what? You're not awesome. In fact, I continue talking aloud to the wall. You play the drums like a baboon. I'm surprised you didn't drool all over the snare drum. And even though I'm pretty sure baboons don't drool any more than humans do, I'm entirely sure that this describes Johnny Parker to a T. I remember what he said about no girls ever making it into jazz band. If I could prove him wrong, I'd be the first girl ever on the drums. How weird is that? Not that I've ever played jazz. I haven't even heard much of it. But the middle school jazz band brought the house down this morning, and I was the only there at rehearsal. Imagine what their live performance must be like. They have a full set. Everyone who makes it in is serious about their craft. like Jessica on the trumpet. It isn't like symphonic band where half the kids just want an extra period to goof off. I'd play any style they wanted just to get a chance to rock out on a real set with serious players instead of a stupid desk to a crowd of nobody. Jazz band is the perfect opportunity.